My name is Loli. I am a professional chef and I'm going to show you today how to make pabellon. Pabellon is a traditional Venezuelan dish. Different components. We're gonna have black beans, shredded beef, rice, and sweet plantains. For the first component of my dish, I'm using flank steak. I cook the beef with onion, garlic, salt, pepper. I added a bay leaf and some red pepper flakes. Once the beef is cooked, I like to remove the beef from the liquid and reserve the liquid to use for later. This is going to add a lot of flavor to our dish later on. It's incredible. It's so soft. Look at this. See? So soft. So I'm gonna let it sit here. The next step is actually one of my favorite parts. We're going to shred the meat with 2 forks. Once we're done shredding the meat, I am going to reserve and set it aside so we can move on with our sofrito. The next step, we're gonna do sofrito. What is a sofrito? Sofrito is like the mirepoix of Latin American cuisine. Without a sofrito, we cannot cook most of our dishes in Latin America. So we're gonna start with olive oil. And next, we're gonna add some red onions because that's what we had in our pantry. We're gonna add some pepper, we're gonna add some salt, and we're gonna let it saute for maybe a minute or 2 until it's translucent. After that, we're gonna add our peppers. Like I mentioned before, we're only using what we have in our pantry, and I only had poblano peppers, which are perfectly fine to use in this recipe, and yellow peppers. We cut them and saute them along with the onions for about 2-3 minutes. I like to add red peppers because I like things a little bit spicy. We're gonna saute that for another minute or 2, and once it's all sauteing, we are going to add last our garlic. When the recipe calls for 1 or 2 cloves of garlic, I like to use 5. So we're gonna use a lot of garlic in this recipe. Next, we're gonna add all our shredded meat. Boy, this is a lot of it. Okay, and I'm going to add the liquid gold, that liquid that we strained earlier. Okay, look at this. This is what it's going to add more flavor. Okay. 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 Moving on to our next component of my dish, pabellon, we're going to use a non-traditional rice. Usually we use white rice for pabellon, right? But we are in crisis and I only had black rice in my pantry. A black rice, but we're gonna start with 1 cup of black rice. We're gonna saute the black rice with a little bit of olive oil, and we're gonna add a little bit of maybe a teaspoon of garlic. You can use a clove of garlic if you like. And to add more flavor to the black rice, I'm gonna use 2 cups of chicken stock. We're gonna let it simmer for maybe 10 minutes, and then we're gonna cover it. Oh, I forgot. I love to add cumin to my black rice, and also adding red peppers because I like things a little bit spicy. And also, last but not least, I'm gonna have here. I bought this when I went to Hawaii. I bought black lava sea salt. I think it's gonna go great with the black rice. More salt. Okay. You always have to taste your food because this is part of what cooking is about. So what I did with my pabellon, with my black beans, I simmer the black beans with just water. I didn't add any salt or any pepper because I feel like salt tends to delay the process of our cooking. So I let it simmer for maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes with water, and I only added the bay leaf. The beans are tender. I added a little salt, pepper, red pepper again, cumin. Cumin is essential for the Latin American food, especially Venezuela. We add cumin to pretty much everything. So in addition to the garlic, we're gonna also add some garlic powder. Next, we're gonna let it simmer. Oh, and I almost forgot. We also going to add chipotle paste. I love chipotle paste, and we only gonna need maybe a teaspoon for 16 ounces of dry beans. So we're gonna add the ingredient I'm going to add to my black beans. It's panela or papelon. I'm using these to sweeten my black beans. Not everybody likes to eat sweet black beans or add sweetness to the black beans, but this is my recipe and I like my black beans to be sweet. And the best way to sweeten your plantain, not your plantains, but your black beans is with Pabellon. So but I'm going to use my knife, and let's see if I can do this in a way where I'm not going to chop my fingers or anything. So I'm using two cutting boards. I'm going to use my knife. Actually, I'm going to use a different knife because that knife is a little bit dangerous. Let me use, this is my favorite knife to use for that, this serrated knife. So I'm going to actually, look at, I'm going to do, there we go. I said this is the best way. Some people use a grinder or too long because it's going to make it bitter, and you don't want bitter black beans. You want sweet, delicious black beans. Okay, so my black beans are cooking perfectly. My shredded beef or carne mechada is looking also fabulous. My rice is almost there. Black rice takes longer than regular white rice. To you is that if you want to make black rice and you want to make pabellon, is that you start with the rice, because apparently it takes longer than regular white rice. Onto the last component of our dish, and one of my favorite too is sweet plantains. We're going to cut the ends. We're going to peel the plantains, and then we're going to slice them. Once we slice them, we're going to fry them. That's perfect. This is exactly what I want. I'm gonna add some parsley because I like some green in my dishes. like that. Gonna mix it. So our dish is ready. I'm gonna plate my meal, my dish. I'm gonna add the rice, the black rice. Okay, carefully. Then I'm gonna add my shredded beef. Here we go. Look at the colors. I love the colors. They look so pretty. So I'm gonna put my plantains here. Then I'm gonna add the black beans on this side. Okay. It turned out to be really good. I'm gonna add some of the green parsley to my black bean, to my shredded beef, maybe some to the black rice. You know, I'm gonna add this extra black beans to my plate, and that's